DC Council gives first approval to amend the PrEP insurance bill. Let's get into this. The DC Council voted unanimously on February the 3rd to approve a bill on its first of two required votes that require health insurance companies to cover the cost of HIV prevention on PrEP drugs for DC residents at risk for HIV infection. The vote to approve the PrEP DC Amendment Act came immediately after the 13-member council voted unanimously again to approve an amendment that removed language in the bill added last month by the council's Committee on Health that would require insurers to fully cover only one PrEP drug. The amendment, introduced jointly by Council Member Zachary Parker, Ward 5, who first introduced the bill in February of 2025, and Christina Henderson, the at large council member who serves as the chair of the Health Committee, requires insurers to cover all U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved PrEP drugs. Under its rule, the D.C. Council must vote twice to approve all legislation, which must be signed by the D.C. mayor and undergo a 30-day review by Congress before it takes effect as a D.C. law. Given the unanimous first reading vote of approval on February the 3rd, Parker told the Washington Blade he was certain the council would approve the bill on its second and final vote expected in about 2 weeks. Among those who raised concerns about the earlier version of the bill was Carl Schmidt, executive director of the DC based HIV and Hepatitis Policy Institute, who sent messages to all 13 council members urging them to remove the language added by the Committee on Health requiring insurers to cover just one PrEP drug. The change made by the committee, Smith told council members, would actually reduce PrEP options for DC residents that are required by current federal law, limit patient choice, and place DC behind states that have enacted HIV prevention policies designed to remain in effect regardless of any federal changes. Smith told the Washington Blade that although coverage requirements for insurers are currently provided through coverage standards recommended in the U.S. Affordable Care Act, known as Obamacare, AIDS advocacy organizations have called on DC and states to pass their own legislation requiring insurance coverage of PrEP in the event that the federal policies are weakened or removed by the Trump administration, which has already reduced or ended federal funding for HIV related programs. The sticking point was the language in the markup that insurers only had to cover one regimen of PrEP. Parker told the Blade in a phone interview the night before the council vote, and advocates thought that moved the needle back in terms of coverage access. And I agree with them, he said. In anticipation that council would vote to approve the amendment and the underlying bill, Parker, the council's only gay member, added, I think this is a win for our community, and this is a win in the fight against HIV and AIDS. During the February 3rd council session, Henderson called on her fellow council members to approve both the amendment she and Parker had introduced and the bill itself. But she did not say why her committee approved the changes that advocates say weakened the bill and that her and Parker's amendment would undo. Smith speculated that pressure from insurance companies may have played a role in the committee change requiring coverage of only one PrEP drug. My goal for advancing the PrEP DC Amendment Act is to ensure that the district is building on the progress made in reducing new HIV infections every year, Henderson said in a statement released after the council vote. On Friday, my office received concerns from advocates and committee leaders about language regarding PrEP coverage, she said. My team and I worked with council member Parker, community leaders, including the HIV Hepatitis Policy Institute and Whitman Walker and the Department of Insurance, Securities, and Banking to craft a solution that clarifies our intent and provides greater access to these life-saving drugs for district residents by reducing consumer costs for any PrEP drug approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, her statement concludes. In his own statement following the council vote, Smith thanked Henderson and Parker for initiating the amendment to improve the bill. This will provide PrEP users with the opportunity to choose the best drug that meets their needs, he said. We look forward to the bill's final reading and implementation. So it looks like DC is going to be able to provide PrEP, well, multiple PrEP drugs to DC residents. That's a wonderful thing to hear, considering the outrageous numbers we have heard recently about the amount of HIV and AIDS cases in the Washington D.C. area. So this is something that we should be very thankful for, that they are making insurance companies cover these type of drugs for people who are looking to protect themselves from any infections moving forward. So, great day for awareness. Great day for DC. This is a win for the city. Let's follow this bill and see how it's implemented and when it's approved. This is the Awareness District. I am T Short. Thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and tell a friend.